Hello, my dear esteemed subscribers, viewers, and followers. Welcome to my next edition of Master Your Language. This is the only lesson where you speak it like you know it. This is the only lesson where you speak it and spell it right. This is the only lesson where you can't go wrong. And today I have prepared you a very important segment of grammar that is on the use of punctuation marks and with regards to speech marks. So I want us to look at the correct use of speech marks in a sentence. And like you all know, the symbol of speech marks is looking like what you can be able to see enclosed in the brackets. Speech marks are also called quotation marks. Remember, we also do have single quotation marks, but today we are going to zero in into the correct use of punctuation marks dealing with speech marks. Now, like you all know, speech marks are used to enclose the actual words that are spoken by a person. How do we use them in a sentence? Remember, when you are using speech marks, you can't forget the use of other punctuation marks. They come in handy because without them, your sentence may not be grammatically correct. Now come with me as we try to look at a few examples of the use or the correct use of speech marks. Sentence examples. I'll start by putting this particular sentence. I want to go home, said Peter. I want to go home, said Peter. Now this sentence is incomplete without the proper punctuation marks, which are the actual words that Peter said. Peter said, I want to go home. So these are the actual words. So I'll put my punctuation marks. I'll start by putting this punctuation mark, we call it opening speech marks. And then I close here. I want to go home. Closing speech marks. And remember, like I said, you must bring in handy the other punctuation marks. So with this and that only, the sentence is still not complete. I will have to put my comma here before the closing speech mark. Then I'll put my full stop there. That's when this sentence is complete. But remember, when you put a comma here, the next letter should begin with a small letter. Like when we say said, then said begins with a small letter. Unless it is a proper noun. For example, Peter said instead of said Peter. If Peter came here first, then obviously Peter being a proper noun, it must begin with capital letter P. Said Peter. Now, let's look at another sentence example. Example number 2. Or rather let me say, Anne wants oranges for breakfast. Anne wants oranges for breakfast, says mother. Says mother. Anne wants oranges for breakfast, said mother. How do we punctuate this sentence? Which are the actual words? The actual words are Anne wants oranges for breakfast. Those are the actual words that mother said. So you enclose them using the speech mark. Put the open speech mark. Anne wants oranges for breakfast. Those are the actual words that mother said. But remember, it is incomplete until you bring in some other punctuation marks. And wants oranges for breakfast, comma. Remember, the comma comes before the closing speech marks. And the next one letter begins with a small letter, unless it's a proper noun. Now, I want to take you to another segment where the speaker or whoever said the word comes first. For instance, we can say, right? Petro said. This is my book that got lost. Look at that sentence. Petro said, this is my book that got lost. Now, in this case, I have brought the person who said the word before the actual words. In this sentence, we can punctuate it by bringing in the punctuation marks. First, Petro said, comma. Then after putting this comma, you are opening the speech marks. But look here, this letter is capital, letter T, not small letter t. I want you to note that it is different from this one here. When you are now introducing the actual words, you must begin the same with the capital letters. Then you now open the speech marks. You put your opening speech marks. This is my book that got lost. And because this is the end of the statement, you will put a full stop and end with the closing speech marks. That's exactly how you are supposed to punctuate these sentences. Now, that was sentence number 3. But then I want you to come with me to a very important aspect of punctuation marks where the speaker talks and pauses and continues. What am I talking about? Look at this sentence here. Sentence number 4. I want all your books here. I want all your books here. Said the teacher. Said the teacher. I need to mark them. I want to look at that sentence. I want all your books here, said the teacher. I need to mark them. Now, this is a sentence which is having 2 clauses. Now, how do you punctuate this sentence? Let's look at the actual words. Which are the actual words that the teacher said? I want your books here. So, we put the opening speech mark, all right? I want your books here. What do you put here? A comma, then closing speech mark. Remember, you have to close it here because of this. And the moment you put a comma here, this should be a small letter s. Small letter s, all right? Said the teacher. Now here is the second clause of the sentence that the teacher said. I need to mark them. Right? Now, you must also punctuate